Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to All Things Wrestling!
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back to All Things Wrestling. I'm here with our second guest, James Ellsworth. James, how you doing?
I'm good. I wasn't the first choice to be the first guest. Yeah, I'm the second guest. What kind of crap is that? Anyway.
Oh, we had the little boogeyman on our first one, so it's a
Who?
pretty the little boogeyman, Chris Hollyfield.
Oh, the little boogeyman. So
Yes.
a little person. So you chose the little boogeyman. It's all right. We'll get through this. We're gonna go ahead. I hope you had fun with the little boogeyman.
Oh man, I am sorry. I apologize. We'll have to definitely make up for that. So getting started, I want to tell our fans. I don't know if they are aware. Terry Bollea, he passed away this morning. Had a cardiac arrest event. So keep his family and friends in your thoughts and prayers, please. James, would you like to add anything to that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, at some point or another, all of us, at some point in our lives, were Hulkamaniacs, right? And he transcended wrestling into the mainstream. It was him and Vince McMahon. He was Vince McMahon's star. Vince McMahon was the promoter. Like Hulk Hogan was the Elvis to Vince McMahon being like the Colonel.
Mm-hmm.
And they made this what it is today. I don't think wrestling, and you never say never, but would be like the way it is today without those two. So us as wrestling fans, me as a wrestler, we owe a lot to Hulk Hogan. Obviously, he was he was a flawed human just like us all, and he might have said
Right.
some stupid stuff later on in his life. I don't think that was him. Got to meet him a few times, got to talk to him. It's very pleasant with me. Tony Atlas, who I book on a lot of my shows, told me great stories about Hulk Hogan in the late 70s, early 80s, how much Hulk Hogan helped him out back then, let him sleep at his house, let him borrow money, let him use cars. And so I don't think a lot of people know those stories. They just hear what they want to hear. And, but me, I listen to people that really got to know, people that a lot of people are talking about negatively. And when I hear those stories from like a Tony Atlas or a Teddy Long, and I'm like, man, this guy's probably all around a cool cat. He was nice to me, like I said. And, he was the biggest wrestling star ever. And, he's the most recognizable wrestler ever, obviously. And it's a shame, man. It's life. It's going to happen to us all. It's terrible. And my thoughts and prayers obviously go out to his family, Nick and Brooke and his wife and everybody. Jimmy Hart's best friend, I'm sure he's taking it pretty hard because that was his buddy, man.
Yeah.
Like Jimmy Hart and him are attached at the hip. So, yeah, man, big loss. It sucks that we got to live through stuff like that, and it keeps happening as we get older, and it happens more and more as we get older. So, yeah, those are my thoughts on that.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you adding to that. Again, my thoughts and prayers go out to Hulk Hogan and his family. So getting into it first, the first question I have for you, Green Shirt Man or Mr. Smiley. I met him in DC on Valentine's Day at SmackDown.
He was your Valentine.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. But
yeah. I saw on Twitter that you posted a video of meeting and discussing how you two get mistaken for one another. Can you tell me a little bit about that meetup?
Yeah, I messaged him on Twitter. I said, hey, man, apparently we look like each other, which I guess we have some similar features. He's a little bigger than me. I think I'm much better looking. But so I messaged him, and he messaged me right back. And, come to find out, him and I only live about 20 minutes apart.
Oh,
So
wow.
maybe we're related in some way. It's very strange. So I met him. We went to the Double T Diner in Catonsville, Maryland, and I met up with him. And I thought it'd be funny to do a video. And the video that you saw, it's got millions of views between Twitter and TikTok and Instagram and Facebook. that I thought was pretty funny. He's a nice guy. He's just a wrestling fan. Yeah, everybody's, theories. Oh, maybe he had somebody that works there knows him, or maybe he was the one CM Punk smacked in the crowd, 15 years ago, and
Mhm.
he's got none of that's true. You know, he just knows how to get that seat, and he gets it quick, and he sits there, and he's not at all the shows, but he goes to the ones where he gets that seat. That's why he's not at all of them. And
Mhm.
he's a great guy. He's very nice. I was a pleasure to meet him. It's funny. A wrestling fan walked into the Double T Diner, and I laughed because the wrestling fan recognized me and him. And I was like, wow, that's cool.
It
So
is. It really is.
yeah, and yeah, like it's funny. Yeah, we do have like similar features, like a little goatee and
Mhm.
all that. But maybe people thought that after my time in WWE, I had became a super fan again. And will sit in the front row for major events. That's not the
Okay.
case. So
Yeah, I do recall seeing you. I think it was back in August of last year at SmackDown in DC. I
no,
think I saw you walking by. I believe
no,
I did. No, you weren't there.
no. So here's my thing, man. I love WWE. A great time there.
Mhm.
Would love to go back at some point. You won't catch me sitting in the crowd of one of their shows because even if, like, let's say four people are talking to me instead of watching the matches, I don't like that. I'd rather them be
Yeah.
paying attention to the people in the ring, busting their ass and, putting their bodies on the line to entertain. Like when I do indie shows, I tell the guys, I'm like, don't hang out in the crowd while their matches are going on because then the fans want to talk to you and they're not paying attention to the match. I'm
Mhm.
not saying an arena full of 10,000 people is going to be looking at me whatsoever. But I'm saying even if three or four people are coming up, hey, it's James Ellsworth. Oh, you used to be on SmackDown. Yeah, like that's just the way I was brought up in wrestling. I'd feel bad.
Mhm.
I'd take anybody away from a match. So I won't do that. And another thing about it is I'd rather be in there performing instead of sitting in the crowd because I know what it's like. I loved it, and
Mhm.
I'm much more of a performer than a watcher anymore.
I
So
can respect that. I
yeah,
don't really like going to sporting events when I could be out there playing, I guess you
that's
can
it.
say.
That's it.
So,
That's
yeah,
to sum it up. That's it. Yes.
yeah, I respect that. Well, thank you for that question, or that answer to that question. Let's jump right into question number two. So, let's go back to the 25th of July, 2016, your debut. How was it going up against the Monster Among Men?
That's crazy that today's July 24th, 2025. So
Yes.
tomorrow will be 9 years ago.
Yes.
Wow. It seems like it was yesterday. Time flies. All that. Yeah, man, I was excited. People were like, were you nervous? Were you like scared? Like, I was like, man, to me, I was like, this is gonna be my one and only time on WWE on Monday Night Raw. I'm gonna go out there and do the best job I can do.
Mhm.
Literally. And so I was having a blast. Yes, he was hitting me hard. Yes, it hurt. Like really hurt. All that, but I was enjoying the moment. I was so in the moment. And that's why I feel like that was my best match I ever had, obviously, because I got signed off the match.
Mhm.
So I feel like that was my best match and best performance ever because I got a job off of it. And yeah, man, it was just such a great moment. Vince hired me right after the match. People think it was because of the internet and all the memes, which was much appreciated. I got a good laugh out of it. And I appreciated all the love. But Vince signed me right after the match. He said, "Hey, pal, come here." I was scared. I thought this guy's going to kick me out of his building forever for doing something wrong. He said, "Your selling was great. Your facial expressions were great, and I loved your promo. I have no choice but to hire you. Go do some paperwork, and we're going to get you going." And he sat back down and went on about his business, producing the show. I'm standing there like, what the, it's just the
That's
greatest
awesome.
moment of my life, greatest moment of my life for sure.
That's awesome. And you brought up that promo. Is that the any man with two hands has a fighting chance?
That's it. Yeah, that's a line that just popped in my head because I knew I was punching him twice in the match,
Uh-huh.
and I was thinking, they gave me a promo to read, and it was Jimmy Jacobs who was the writer for that promo. And I said, "Hey, Jimmy, like, can I add this line in here? Any man with two hands has a fighting chance because I'm hitting him twice, and I think it's a cool line. It's kind of
Yeah.
from Rocky 5 where Rocky's on the couch and he says, I figure you have two hands, you have a chance. So it's kind of a play off of that if you watch Rocky Five. And
Okay.
yeah, so and that's the first time I've ever said it. And it's so cool to me that people took to that and remember that, because those are my words. That wasn't something I read off a paper or something somebody came up with for me. It's
Hmm.
something I came up with on the fly myself. And man, to this day, 9 years later, if I'm at a Walmart or a Target or a mall or a gas station, I have people come up to me and say that line. And that means so much to me because those are my words. And as
Yeah.
you know, any kind of artist, right? Like wrestlers or artists or
Hmm.
performer, when you come up with your own material and that's what hits, it's the best feeling in the world. So I appreciate you and everyone else that remembers that line.
It's a good line. It's a really good line.
Yeah.
Um, AJ Styles. So I see you have an interest in potentially getting back in the ring with AJ Styles if you can work something out with the WWE. I know you have 3 wins over him, but before I ask this next question, can you do it without the help of John Moxley, formerly known as Dean Ambrose, if you get that opportunity?
Well, first thing I'll say is I miss Dean Ambrose. And you could take that anywhere you wanted, but I really miss Dean Ambrose. um, I love the Lunatic Fringe and the he was still as gritty, but he was
Mhm.
funny on top of it. It was great. Like him and I worked well together. It was 2 car crashes in one garage. I was like stupid crazy, and he was badass crazy. It was
Wow.
fun.
I mean, he's
Um,
showing that on AEW right now, so
yeah, yeah. I miss Dean Ambrose, but
I miss him too.
yeah, John Moxley. Yeah, I miss Dean Ambrose. Just my preference. Um, but yeah, like AJ Styles. I mean, he's feuding with the Judgment Day right now. I walk so Dirty Dom can run. He's
Mhm.
Dirty Dom is just a better version of me, but I walk so he could run.
Mhm.
So right now, if I were to go back and face AJ Styles, first thing I would do is go into the Judgment Day clubhouse and say, "Hey guys, I'll take care of this problem for you, but I need a little bit of help." That's my idea. Um, but as far as having another match with AJ Styles, from what I understand, he's not too long away from retirement. And
Mhm.
even if it's not a match, at least I would love to have one more. See, I told you people were blowing up my phone.
All good.
Yeah, can you still see me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. So, um, even if it's not a match, I would at least like to have one more moment with AJ Styles, whether it be a backstage or just a promo in the ring, or anything of that nature. Like I just loved working with him. He
Mhm.
was great. He was great to me. At the time I was working with him back in 2016, he was the best wrestler in the world at the time, WWE champion.
Mhm.
And yeah, so I just want one more moment with him before he calls it quits, whether it be a match, a backstage, anything. So
Okay.
hopefully it works out.
Okay. That's awesome. I hope it works out too. I'll definitely try and be at that event too, if it does. So, managing Carmella, that was, I don't know. I, I enjoyed it. It was entertaining. But what the biggest moment for me with you and Carmella working together was when you climbed the ladder, got the briefcase, and tossed it down to her. So my specific question with that is, whose idea was that to work with, have you two work together, and who orchestrated that not Royal Rumble, Money in the Bank win?
So Carmella came to me. It was like November of 2016. She comes to me. We're on a tour in Europe, and she comes to me, and I've never talked to her. Like we
Mhm.
would say hi in the hallway and shake hands, like respectfully, and like you're supposed to. But I never had a conversation to her up to this point. She came
Okay.
to me. She's like, "Hey, James." I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" And she's like, do you know what they're doing with you after you're done with the AJ Styles, Dean Ambrose stuff?" And I said, I'm not asking questions. I'm just doing what they tell me to do, and I'm doing it to the best of my ability." She
Hmm.
goes, "Well, I have this idea of them putting you with me, and I like act like I like you, and it helps me help me win matches, and it's." I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." She's like, "Do you mind if I go pitch it to Vince?" I said, "Who's saying no to her, right?" So I said, "Yeah, sure. Yeah, go ahead." So a week later, she came to me. She goes, "Hey, Vince loved the idea. I think we're gonna do it." I was like, "Oh, cool." So It was her idea. It worked out for her, obviously. Money in the Bank was Vince's idea. Him and John Laurinaitis were actually arguing about it. John Laurinaitis like, this is the first ever women's Money in the Bank, and we can't have a guy grab it and win it for the girl. And Vince goes, see, that's why we do it, because people will be so mad at it that next week on SmackDown we can have the rematch and pop a big rating because people are going to be like, all right, no, they're doing it correctly now. It was all planned from day one. People think, oh, because of the backlash, they had the second one. The second one was planned before the first one.
Yep.
And it was great. I love that moment because that's another. See, wrestling's all about moments. I was there 2016, 17, and 18, right? So those 3 calendar years. But I had some memorable moments, the Braun Strowman, the beating AJ Styles, the Money in the Bank. So I have these moments that people, Eddie Man with 2 hands has a fighting chance. Like, I have these moments people remember. So that there's people that have been there 10, 11, 12 years that don't have those moments people remember. And they leave the company and nobody remembers them or remember because they don't have those moments. So I was very blessed. That was another moment I was very blessed to have, was the Money in the Bank. It worked to a T. Like, if you go back and watch it, while I'm climbing the ladder, the people in the arena are just going nuts. I really feel like they wanted me to grab it, keep it for myself, and run through the crowd with it. As soon as I dropped it to her, they're like, oh, so it was cool. Loved it. Loved the moment.
Wow. That was definitely one for the history books because no one expected it.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So let's go to your 2017 Royal Rumble. You were entrant number 11.
Mm-hmm.
You took I think you got thrown over the top rope.
Yeah,
by Braun Strowman, or choke slam or power slam over the top rope onto the floor.
It was a reckless throw.
I kind of figured. That's why I wanted to ask.
Yeah, so he was supposed to have me over the ropes already and then throw me where I can land on my feet and roll. Instead, he threw me from the ring where I have no control of myself. So my feet hit the top rope. And when that happened, I'm a wrestler. I'm just thinking, okay, I'm going to take a bump.
Yep.
Took a bump on the floor, like from 15 feet, and I was okay because I took my, we know how to protect ourselves.
Right. You braced.
Yeah, I was fine. I got to the back and Shane McMahon's going nuts. He's like, are you okay? I can't believe he threw you like that. I'm like, I'm fine. Here's when he gets back here. I'm laying into him. I'm like, you don't have to. It's cool. It's cool. Braun comes to the back and Shane just starts laying into him. I was like, man, Shane McMahon must like me. But Braun was really fairly new to wrestling at the time. Like, you think you're in WWE and you're really good because you're there already. It's not the case. He's just a real big guy that you got to put on TV because he looks like such a monster. But he was real new back then. And to that point, I'd been wrestling 14 and a half years. Like, so I knew how to protect myself and kind of, what you need to do, but no one's perfect. And he got better as the years went along because he started picking it up more. But yeah, man, what a bump. Like, I'm glad, that's the most memorable elimination from that Royal Rumble. So at least I have that as well.
Oh, yeah. It was probably one of the ones that I remember as being one of the most significant ones. I'd say top 3.
It definitely knocked the wind out of me, but I was okay.
And I think it was just because of that bump you took. You took it like a champ. I was like, oh, he's going to get a title run.
I remember I went to dinner there in San Antonio after that, not far from the arena. So it was Mad Wrestling. I don't remember if it was like Hooters or a Whataburger or wherever I was at. Like, and people were like, fans from the show were like, you okay? You okay? And I was completely fine. I'm like, well, I'll probably feel it in the morning, which, I did feel it in the morning. So that's very true.
Okay. Yeah. Speaking of Royal Rumble matches, did you catch the Royal Rumble from this year? I believe it was I Show Speed. He got cut in half by Braun Breaker. Yeah, Braun Breaker.
Yeah.
And then thrown out of the ring into the arms of Otis, who then flips him backwards over the announcer's desk.
Mm-hmm.
How would you rate that spot out of 1 to 10, 10 being greatest of all time?
I'd give it a 9 for sure. I remember watching that going, man, I wonder if I Show Speed just made somebody mad during like the rehearsal or something. And it's funny, like 5 months later, I saw Braun Breaker do an interview, and he said, I was trying to go over the spot with I Show Speed to tell him where to stand and how to take it.
Uh-huh.
He's like, and he was too busy doing his live and his chat or whatever. He goes, so we know. He's like, okay, well, I'm gonna cut this kid in half. I hope he's ready for it. I'm like,
Oh,
man, these celebrities, they come into wrestling, a lot of them don't understand it. It hurts, man. And he made sure he told Braun Breaker made sure I Show Speed went and told all his buddies on his chat, whether it be his chat or his real friends, that hey man, that wrestling stuff ain't no joke.
oh yeah,
So,
oh yeah. He put everything into that spear.
and
Um,
he didn't have to, but I'm glad he did.
I am glad he did as well.
Yeah.
So I want to jump into working for Vince McMahon. People love him, people hate him. I respect him for what he did for pro wrestling all around. He did something that no one has been able to do to date, or even before his time.
Yeah.
How was it working for Vince McMahon?
Well, Vince McMahon is the only person in the history of the world who made billions of dollars with a B off of just wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Not that his dad owned a football team or this or that or the other. Ted Turner was a part of it, or like WCW never made $1 billion profit. Neither has anyone else. Only Vince off of wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
He was. I mean, I can't say a bad word about him. He gave me my dream job. He's the one that picked me, and he was always so nice to me and very business. But tell me what to do. Tell me how he wanted me to do it. And I had a blast working for him. His personal life's none of my business or anybody else's. Everybody likes to say this or that and the other. When somebody's charged with something, or I don't care. Like, it's none of my. I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. That's how I always feel. So, but personally to me, he was great, man. My favorite boss I ever had. I remember going to work. I'm like, man, Vince McMahon's actually my boss. This is like, I grew up watching this. I grew up watching him. And, I can't believe this is happening. Such a blessing. And I loved every minute there, man. I had a great time, and I loved working for him.
Awesome. And I asked that question because later on you would be released, or correct me if I'm wrong, released, or is it the contract was not renewed?
So I'm a weird situation, meaning
Okay.
in 2017 November they released me, but they give you this 90-day period where
Right.
where your contract's still going on until after the 90 days. I think it was day 84 into that. They
Mhm.
call me, psych, we're going to continue your contract. And I'm like, well, that's great. I said, but I have
Wow.
all these indie dates. And they're like, you can do them. And, we'll just have you do TV. Just, don't do anybody else's TV. Like back then, I think it was only Ring of Honor or TNA.
Right.
And I was like, okay. And I was doing house shows, not house shows. I was doing indie shows on the weekend and
Okay.
SmackDown on Tuesday and then the pay-per-views. I'm like, it was very, very rewarding and busy time in my life. But they never officially fired me or released me. Just when my contract was up, it was done. And
Okay.
that's it. And that's it. So,
Okay. Well, we've reached our last question here, and I know it's a busy day for you. Rumor has it, and I heard this weekend when I was at the Shane Shamrock Cup tournament at MCW. Are you a joint owner or partner with MCW and a promotion called Adrenaline Championship Wrestling?
I'm the owner of Adrenaline Championship Wrestling. If you
Oh,
go
wow.
if you go to acwtix.com, you'll see all our shows we got coming up. Like we got this Saturday in Red Lion, Pennsylvania. We got Sunday, and that's with Matt Riddle. We got Sunday, August 10th with Gigi Dolan, who's now known as Priscilla Kelly, and Heath Slater in Glen Burnie, Maryland.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And then we're back at Red Lion September 19th, and then we're at then that's going to be with Gigi Dolan, Priscilla Kelly as well. And then September 26th, we have Enzo in Baltimore at a brewery. But like I said, go to acwtix.com and you'll see all the shows, able to get tickets, all the info's on there. As far as MCW is concerned, I am a performer. we do business together. I am not at all one of the owners, bookers,
Okay.
have anything to do with any of it other than, I run my promotion, Maryland. They run their promotion, but we work together as in we help each other out.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have no, like I said, I have no power at MCW. I am not the owner. I'm not the booker. But, like let's say, for instance, for example, last Friday in Hagerstown, Maryland, we ran an ACW show and we had Shotzi and we had Baron Corbin and we had the Good Brothers. And 2 hours away, the next day, they had the Shane Shamrock Memorial Cup with all the same talent.
Mhm.
We're not stepping on each other's toes because it's so far away. And for the talent, they get to have two bookings instead of one, and it works out for everybody. We're,
Mhm.
now I only have to pay for one flight or one hotel, and instead of you know bringing somebody in and having to do it all myself. That's what I mean. We do business together. We've done those joint fan jams.
Okay.
Yeah, where we've had some ACW matches on the shows, and I've helped put those together. But yeah, I am not, an owner of MCW or a booker. I am very much a talent that, runs another company that works with MCW together on things like that. So,
Okay. Okay. So because you're the owner of ACW, I should ask you this then. Do you see a DMV undisputed champion in the future?
that's a good question. Very good question. I never say never. I think right now we're pretty content when they have, MCW has their champion. I have mine. There's other promotions in the area, but I would argue that MCW and I are like the ones that the people pay attention to the most. MCW's been around the longest. ACW, obviously, I'm a former WWE guy, so people, I've gotten the name out for that. Like, when I was on Talk is Jericho, I talked about my promotion and Stone Cold Steve Austin's podcast. So, we get really good crowds, and so do they. And like, I came from MCW. I trained at Bone Breakers in Baltimore in 2002 is when I started,
Oh
when I
wow.
was 17 years old.
Okay.
Yeah. So, you know, um, MCW has always been a part of me, even if I wasn't there for a couple of years or this,
Mhm.
that, or whatever happened. I was in WWE or I just started my own company. So I was focused on that. Like, but I am very, very happy that we are doing business together and we all get along. And, but yeah, as far as a belt goes, like going back to your question, you never know. I mean, if it made sense for a storyline or we feel like people would be interested in it, I'm sure we would do it. I mean, right now they have their champions. We have our champions at ACW, and everybody's pretty content with that at the moment. But you never
Okay.
say never. Yeah.
Okay. Well, James, thank you for joining me on our podcast here at All Things Wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, please check out acw.tix.com.
No, it's ACWTIX.com. Say it right, man. ACWTIX.
acwtix.com.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
apologize,
It's
James.
all good.
Make sure I get it
Now
right.
you got to come to Red Lion this Saturday to see Matt Riddle.
Red
So
Line, Matt Riddle.
it's not too far. Where are you at? Where are you at right now? What
I'm
town?
actually Northern Virginia,
Oh, you're not
Loudoun
far.
County.
You are not far. Yeah, I got to go to Charlotte, North Carolina tomorrow to wrestle. Then Saturday I'm in Red Lion, and then Sunday I'm in Dundalk. So yeah, it's a busy weekend for me.
Oh, yeah.
I love to wrestle still, man. I love to perform. Wrestling's my life. It's my livelihood, and it's how I take care of my wife and kids. And it's very important to me. So appreciate you having me on. Take care. God bless. Stay safe, and remember, any man with two hands has a fighting chance.
Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for another episode of All Things Wrestling Podcast. James, thank you for joining us.
Thanks,
Take
bro.
care. Be safe.
Boo.
All right, sir. See ya.